So guys, we are halfway through our first Bloodshot Shroud Dauntless Trial leaderboard, and it's looking pretty weird already. Let's talk about it. Before that, let me just say I will probably be doing my new PC build tomorrow, and I will probably be doing that over on my Twitch this time around. So if you'd like to see me build my new PC live, head over there tomorrow, and, maybe you'll see some catastrophic failure happen. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Let's start with a squad leaderboard, and I'm not entirely surprised by what I'm seeing here. We only have about 66 times that are 3-star trial times. The others are 2-star. That's why here we see 66 is 459 and 67 is 259, but this had a death in it and this one did not. It's just that the squad leaderboard right now isn't showing those goals completed, so if you were wondering why you were down here instead of up here, that is why. You had a death in your run if you were down here. If you were up here, then you didn't have a death in your run. But what's moderately surprising is that the number 1 squad is number 1 by over a minute. It does make sense that there aren't a ton of people who want to suffer through this trial in groups, but for there to be over a minute gap between first and second here thus far, I think that's pretty interesting. But the solo leaderboards are what you would find a little bit more interesting so far. We can see we do have 3 different weapons in the top 5 so far. I am moderately surprised that Cosplay has not yet figured out how to kill it within 1 tonic, but I'm still not super surprised by that because of just how much HP this thing has. What is kind of surprising is that Revenant Strikers are keeping pace here, and that's even with, being able to enter the discipline state and then recharge your discipline afterward in this trial. And things are pretty intriguing when you take a look at the individual weapon boards. What doesn't surprise me is that Chain Blades is the number 1 weapon used on this trial so far. It's the only weapon so far that you need to have a 3-star completion for. And it's also surprising that halfway through the week, it is still a top 10 weapon. But what's more of a surprise than Chain Blades being number 1 used weapon is that Warpike so far is the number 2 used weapon on this trial. We're getting pretty close to the point where you do need a 3-star completion for the Warpike as well. The Spin to Win is just too strong with this one. And I don't think it's entirely surprising that repeaters are the number 3 used weapon so far, and there's only about half of the leaderboard so far that are 3-star times. Kind of more surprising to me though is that people in this range are using Revenant here because it's really not doing you any favors. You probably could have used Tempest for better results at that point. But I would say by the end of the week you probably will just barely need a 3-star for repeaters. If not, there will be a few 2-star times on there. But these are the only 3 weapons that have had 100 completions so far. The other weapons all do not have 100 completions. It is interesting that Sword is viable for a top 5 time right now, and that's only because cosplay is cosplay, but it is viable at least if somebody wants to take a crack at that. But we don't yet have 100 completions on Sword, and that's kind of weird considering that you do have Avenging Overdrive, which should make deaths a little bit less common on this trial. But by the end of the week, we'll probably see a 2-star 8 minutes or 7 minutes or so be the threshold for what you need for a top 100 for Sword. And believe it or not, Axe is the next most commonly used weapon so far, 60 completions with Axe. We even have a sub 3 completion with Axe so far, and that means we have an Axe in the top 25. That is absolutely wild, but it does actually make sense considering this is a really long trial run. But what really does not make sense to me at all, and probably the reason I even made the video here in the first place, is that Axe and Hammer are very different stories right now. Axe has a better time than the best Hammer time so far, and Pike of Destiny is no scrub. I'm not entirely surprised Cosplay hasn't done a Hammer run yet, but I wouldn't think Hammer would be too terrible on this trial. It is a bit of an active behemoth, but I don't think it would be that far off from an Axe's performance. Right now, you could quite literally take a Tempest build that just has a Hammer as the weapon on it, and you could get a top 100 time. You could probably get a 2-star top 100 time if you were just using Tempest. I don't know, you might even be able to get a 3-star time with just using Tempest. There isn't even 10 3-star times so far. And I do find it rather surprising that Strikers are the 6th most used weapon so far. We only have 58 completions on that, and that's even considering that it is viable for a top spot right now. It's number 2 on the leaderboard, but we only have 58 completions. Strikers have kind of fallen out of favor since they aren't super broken anymore, but I would still expect there to be a good amount of Striker mains that would be able to complete this trial with Strikers, or at least enough people who would play every weapon, such that we would have more Striking completions than Axe completions. I would say Axe mains are probably more dedicated to playing Axe than mains of other weapons, but for us to see this, where Strikers aren't being used as much, I would have never expected that. But yeah, these trial leaderboards are very weird right now, halfway through this trial. I think it is kind of expected that Hammer, you basically just need to kill the thing, but there are plenty of things you would never have expected going on with these leaderboards. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick video talking about this today because it's pretty interesting in my opinion. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you for watching. Once again, I will be probably live streaming a PC build over on my Twitch tomorrow. Hopefully it goes smoothly and I don't blow up a bunch of pretty expensive computer parts. But I have been Trevor, I go by TheMrTrails, and I will catch you guys next time.